Jonathan, well, he used to be called Bones Jones in my book, but Jonathan is in the news again. Surprise, surprise. He murdered someone. Like, you know what? Can we be honest? If I came on here and it said Jon Jones murdered someone or Jon Jones, this is actually going to be weird news. I mean, at this point, you believe anything. So Jon Jones is in the news. I'm just going to throw, he said that there's a reason why he's so emotional and so unhinged and abusive and all this. He was M-word as a child. Okay, M-word. I don't want to see you go out and say the word. I don't know if the videos get taken down if you say it, but we'll just say M-word. He was some sexually deviant act happened to him when he was younger. So it's, I said this, Chris. This is one of those, like, have you ever been in a circumstance? You know what? You were a pretty shitty kid, right? You were like a douchebag kid. Okay, so you probably did this. Have you ever been a kid and you're in trouble? Okay, you're in big trouble, and you're in trouble, but you need to, like, have it. You're always going to be in trouble because you did it, but you need to go down a little. You need to make it less. So you victimize yourself. You say, wait a second, this happened when I was younger, or wait a second, you are in fault because you didn't do this. You play the victim. That's what I feel about this dude.
Yes. I think one of the tipping points was when Jackson Wink, Mike Winkeljohn,
He gone.
Mike pretty much banned Jon Jones and removed him from.
Out. They kicked the best MMA fighter, arguably of all time. I wouldn't say that, but arguably out of their gym.
Yes, and to clarify what this is, Mike Jackson is still training just Mike Winkeljohn out of the striking. And here's what Winkeljohn said. A couple things. He mentioned how when he heard what his daughter said about, Mom, you need to call the cops, how he also mentioned too that he has women's self-defense and a lot of women that he trains and stuff for self-defense in his camp, and how can he look them in the eye when he's training Jon Jones. He also mentioned how Jon Jones have a lot of yes people around him and how something needs to happen. He said that he said how great Jon Jones is. Jon Jones has a great mindset. He can do so many things bigger than MMA. He just needs to fix his problems. So after all of this, Jon Jones put up a quote saying that how it's devastating.
Bible verse?
He mentioned about how he had a conversation with one of his coaches, and it's devastating that the coach just dropped him, but he's still happy that there are coaches that's sticking by him.
Dude, I don't wish pain or misery on anyone. I think that makes you a really bad person and whatnot. But I can't help this feeling of, like, he needs his comeuppance. Like, he needs his just shitty act after shitty act after shitty act. He gets out of it every time. And you're like, as a good person, you're like, okay, he's learning. Yeah, all this. He isn't learning anything, and he's tricking everyone around him. Like, he's like, he's a shitty person, but he does a shitty act, and he's like, no, I'm not a shitty person. I love God. And then he does another shitty thing. No, that was a mistake. I didn't mean to do it. Look, I'm a good person. And then does another shitty thing, and it's like, when is the end? When are we going to be like Jon Jones? Fuck you. See ya. You're gone. Like,
well, the problem is he's not tricking anyone. The problem is, well, you can say it's tricking. Now, this is the urban term. The problem is he's providing money and taking care of a lot of people. That's the issue. Which that's the difference between him and Luis Pena, who's going in a similar situation. Jon Jones making a lot of money for a lot of people, a lot of good money because he one of the best in his game.
Are you a professional segwayer? That was a beautiful segue, dude. That was like, it's almost like you planned that.
If Jon Jones was Luis Pena, Jon Jones would have been cut. The problem is, at the end of the day, people care whether it's his entourage, whether it's the big company or the UFC or whatever. His entourage cares about, oh man, Jon, if I just hang around with Jon telling me yes, he's gonna take care of me. I get all the rewards from that. UFC cares because he's still the greatest guy he's still the greatest MMA fighter arguably of all time. So that is.
I have 2 points. I'll even I wish we had like an interactive thing where like the audience could vote which one they want us to go into, but I have 2 points, and I'll ask you where do you want me to go? First thing, do you think there is an intrinsic mental like mental debilitation that is caused by so much punishment in MMA that these cases, for instance, the War Machine case, Luis Pena case, Jon Jones, Chris Benoit, these weird, extreme weird cases where men turn violent that have been in like contact sports. Do you think that's CT related or related to that? Or if you want to make it super broad, do you think like no, let's just start with that one. Let's start with that one. Do you think there's a bigger thing that if this is involved with CT? Because Jon Jones says he was molested as a child. That's probably fucked him up mentally quite a bit, some trauma. Not all MMA fighters are molested, okay? Fair. But all MMA fighters get punched in the head. So do you think there's some sort of path or some sort of evilness that gets put in your psyche because you're smacked in the head over and over and over and over and over and over, and then finally you snap?
Well, it is common with head trauma. With head trauma, a lot of things go into play. Temper, anger, loss of sense, loss of balance, vertigo, all the things come into play. But the thing about the brain is, whenever the brain shakes or you maneuver with the brain, experiencing any trauma, you never know what you're going to get out of it. Whether it's your responses to things, whether it's your mood, whether it's a lot of things.
Say the brain is like a box of chocolates.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get when you hit it. But yeah, so it is a connection. It is a connection. The thing, but there's also a thing with Jon Jones is all of Jon Jones' life, adult life.
You're right. I know what you're gonna say, and I know you're right.
All of Jon Jones' adult life, people are making money off of him, and when people make money off of you, they pump you up.
Yep.
And not only do they pump you up, they look out for you, like because you're considered an investment. People pump you up, they look out for you, and you after years of doing that, you develop a complex feeling you're invincible, feeling you're untouched. People like, if I keep doing this and I'm winning, no one can touch me.
But
no one can do these, and he's invincible.
He is invincible. He's right.
Yes.
There's look, Luis Pena. He's not untouchable. Like he's like Jon Jones seems to be untouchable at this point, and it disgusts me.
Yes. Okay, let's go on to, we're talking about Luis Pena. Here's what happened with Luis Pena personally. Okay, one of his
he's a MMA, he's a UFC fighter, Luis Pena. He's middle of the road. I think he just lost, if I'm not mistaken. They call him the Violent Bob Ross. That's his nickname.
That's his hair. Okay, his what his issue with Luis Pena. His girlfriend got a call the cops a day after about a domestic situation where she said he punched her multiple times in the face and choked her. Also, there was another woman that tried to intervene and stop it, and she got choked and punched also. So there's an audio of the call that she called saying all these things, he did all these things, and she just want him out of the house. So then they investigated and all these other things. And so far, Luis Pena got locked up. But still, the connection with both of these guys is both of them are domestic incidents that the female came and reported. But the huge difference is Luis Pena locked up. I don't think he had to bail, but anyways, he got released immediately from the UFC.
Yep, Jon Jones, like I think it was a day or 2 days after.
Jon Jones, let's just say, like he has a history and stuff, but let's erase his history. This right here, his wife reported and his kid reported, and there's audio of these things. But yet, Jon Jones have leeway, and Jon Jones the next day posting up how he training for another fight.
It's just disgusting, bro. Like it's just like I don't know what to say. Like it's just like Jon Jones is a disgusting human being, dude. Like I don't know how more clearly to say that, or and like I said, he just keeps doing these things, and we just keep talking about him. And okay, this was the next thing I was gonna say. So I called this my Michael Jackson paradox. Okay, Michael Jackson, arguably the greatest singer of all time, if not the greatest performer of all time. Just he's literally off the charts. Yeah, say what you want about his history, whatnot. Performing wise or music wise, no one like holds a candle to him. Elvis Presley, maybe? I don't even know who you would put. But anyways, he allegedly molested, or shoot, I shouldn't have said the word, but he allegedly emmed children. Okay, so he sexual behavior, and there's 2 kids that made like a big documentary about it and saying that he did. They explained it. What. Do you, and I guess you could call this the R. Kelly now. R. Kelly, his record sales, I think up 500% since he got. But anyways, do you separate the music from the artist, or is the art so intrinsically connected to his life, to that person, that you can't separate it? That like whenever you think of Michael Jackson, you think of, hey, that's what he did. Whenever you think of Jon Jones, that's what he did. Whenever you think of Luis Pena, are acts so bad that they're connected to you the rest of your life, or because you're an artist, your art should just be looked at?
See, it all depends on what the person's fan of. Okay, if the person is a fan of their art, they're gonna take the art. Majority of the time, they're gonna take the art, and they're not gonna believe. But the person not really a fan of their art, it's easy for them to separate. Like with Jon Jones, I'm a fan of MMA, so I appreciate his art. I appreciate his art. It's unquestionable. I appreciate it, and I will always forever appreciate his art. It's just him off the clock is what I don't appreciate. Same thing. Yeah. Same thing with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, I remember the moment when I realized Michael Jackson was extraordinary beyond belief. I think I was probably like 13 or 14. He was off in some other country, I forget, but he was doing this huge concert. And I seen grown-ass men faint. I'm like, hold up.
The first time I listened to Man in the Mirror, I got choked up. Like, I was like, the song, I've never been choked up by a song, but that choked me up. I was like, dude, what is like?
And see, the thing about music too is music is an instant time machine. You listen to a song and automatically you remember those memories. And also the thing about an average individual when they're 12 to 13, from 12 to 17, whatever music was hot during then, to them that's the best time of music, and they remember that. Average person 12 to 17.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for us because we had like Britney Spears and like NSYNC, but they were really talented. I'm not even gonna lie. Like,
and whenever you hear that music that you listened to when you was 12 to 17, you get giddy because especially when you start getting a car and you want to drive and you move, and the music you listen to when you first start driving, like 12 to 17.
Do you know what tooling is, right?
Tooling? No.
Yeah. Maybe that's a white thing. I don't know. Tooling is when you like turn music on and you have like a route and you just go. Sometimes they say tooling with like a marijuana, you smoke drugs or smoke something, but you just tool around and you just go around. Yeah. Dude, I remember I used to tool around to fucking NSYNC and freaking like pop music. So.
Yes, and the thing about music too is R. Kelly, Michael Jackson has made impactful music throughout the years. That affects, and it's hard for people to.
Dude,
it is
hard. Tell me, I believe I can fly. That's not the most inspirational song of all time. Literally.
You know what's the irony of that song is?
What?
It was R. Kelly.
Wasn't it like a Space Jam song?
Yeah, but you know what's the irony of that phone is? R. Kelly is petrified of flying. He never flew.
That's funny. Yeah.
I guess he sung that song to motivate himself, and he just never flew.
Well, I believe I can fly. I believe that I can do anything. That's that's what I get from that song, and I love it. I love that.
Yes.
I believe I can do anything. Literally, I can fly. I can.
Impactful song, and I'm gonna say this too before, because we're the thing of when you like I told you they don't call me. I earned this Mac Hondo name. I was birthday.
Mac Hondo.
Let's be all the way real. In Hollywood and the music game, that type of act is normalized. People do that. So many kids been fucked over and screwed over in the film industry and the music industry.
Literally and figuratively.
Yes, for years and stuff. And it's welcome. The only problem is when they get out. And the only problem is, the industry is ran that like no one says something when this fat Jewish guy that owns this company does it unless he gets out. But R. Kelly, the problem with R. Kelly is his money's just gotten low.
Hey, his money. You want a hot take? You want a disgusting hot take right now? I don't mean to interrupt you or whatnot. Harvey Weinstein. What did Harvey Weinstein do? He had sex with women who didn't want to have sex with him. Is that what he did? He intimidated women to have sex with him.
Yes.
Like what I'm saying, like I think Harvey Weinstein. The big thing about that is how he looks and everything, and that he's rich and whatnot. But that goes on in Hollywood. It's like that's what happens. That's
Yes.
literally Hollywood. And
You're,
I'm not saying that's right. That's wrong. And he's wrong for doing that. He's a jerk. But that's the business.
and
Like,
then I knew that as a kid. I had self-reflection. I was like, damn, that's why a lot of these shows that I watched, these women had no talent. They couldn't even act a fool.
Because they just had.
They couldn't even act a fool. That's why it was so much bad. Yeah, that's why it was so much bad acting. But okay, now what I was saying with R. Kelly is the problem when R. Kelly was when it really started heating him up is when his money started going low. Because listen, law is different when you have money.
Mhm.
There's two things about law. It's different when you're white, and it's different when you have money. If you're both, you make the laws.
Yep, you make and write the laws. You're the politician. Like,
Yes. So once he started going broke, it really started hitting him. But there's a lot of R. Kellys, and there's a lot of allegedly Michael Jacksons in the industry. It just so happened these was public and they got out.